What's up guys, Danz here and welcome to another episode of Capmode Cheat Codes. It's episode 11 and first of all, thank you very much for your feedback on episode 10. I didn't know that there were so many of you guys wanting this series in English, so here it is. From now on, I'll post every single Sorare video here on this channel in English. For me, it's important to get this series to as many people as possible that are interested in Sorare and this Capmode Cheat Code series. Then obviously I'm better off doing it in English instead of German. So before I'll show you my picks for Gameweek 365, we're going to make a little twist to these videos because some of you guys requested it, and I think it would be a very good addition to the video if I'm going to see what the players that I recommended the past game week did and whether they were able to outperform their L15 or not. I'm not gonna show you all of my 8 picks from the past game week, but I'm having a look at the whole watch list and gonna give you guys 3 good players and 3 bad players from the past game week. First of all, I'm gonna talk about the underperformance of the past game week. First one is Lennart Mosa. Unfortunately, he couldn't live up to his L15 or outperform it against Sorare in the relegation battle. He conceded 5 goals and made just an all-around of 3, so 18 points was not enough. Up next, it's Mohamed Simakan, a player I was fairly sure about playing at the weekend, but he didn't. He wasn't even in the squad against Augsburg. Unfortunately, underperformed by 31 points because he technically scored 0. And the third player on the list is Santiago Arias from FC Cincinnati. Just look at his score against St. Louis. He is a defender card, so gets -4 for each goal against Cincinnati, so it's -20, and yes, all-around score wasn't good for him as well, so 18 points for Arias, and obviously a -22 from his L15. Now we'll come to the fun part, the overperformers from past game week, and the first one is a player of Atletico Madrid. It's Yannick Carrasco, and he was one of the 8 that I put in the video, not only in the watch list, but presented to you guys. Carrasco really scored pretty damn good. 84.9 points against Almeria. Got an assist at left wing back, 24 AA. And the next one is Florian Grillitsch from Ajax Amsterdam. He was another one from the 8 picks I presented to you. Florian Grillitsch scored in 81.6, nearly the same as the game before, the 81.7. I thought he'll play again after the 4-0 victory from Ajax over Sittard, and he did. Got an all-round score that's pretty huge with 46 defense, 4 tackles, 12 points, and yes, just look at this, 91 accurate passes. It's equals 9.1 points, and obviously 8 duels won, 2 interceptions, 8 accurate long balls. And now we'll get to the best player from the watch list past game week, and this was Gilberto from Benfica. Don't look at the game against Inter, look at the game against Chavez. Benfica lost, but Gilberto made 60 all-rounds, 14 points in general, 13 points in defense, 21.1 points in possession, and 12.5 points in attack. So 95.6 score for Gilberto, and this equals a plus of 57 points from his L15. That's it from the review from the past game week. Now we get into my picks for the upcoming weekend. So game week 365 will start with 2 goalkeepers, then we have 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 2 strikers that should hopefully outscore their L15. First of all, we've got a familiar face, especially for those who were watching the last episode. It's Thomas Kubek from FC Augsburg. He should play again against Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. It's a relegation battle, and I think the chances are even higher that he doesn't concede 3+ goals as he did against Leipzig. So he really will be able to outscore his L15 of 25. Pikiewicz isn't back in the squad. Some of you guys said to me that's because they don't want the contract of Gikiewicz to be extended, and for that he needs to play one more game in this season, and they're looking after Finn Dahmen from Mainz 05, whose contract expires this summer as a new number 1 goalkeeper. So maybe Kubek will play until the end of the season. Second goalkeeper from this upcoming game week is Alp Arda from Istanbulspor. David Jensen, the main goalkeeper and the number 1, is suspended because of 5 yellow cards in this season, so Arda should play for him, and he's got a L15 of 21, so really low. I know Fenerbahce is a tough opponent, and yes, they could score 3+ goals, but for this price, under €3 at the moment, Alp Arda is a good shout for this game week, but be aware of the situation that David Jensen will come back and gain his number 1 spot back after the suspension. Coming to the first defender, and that's my favorite pick of all of them today. It's Jamie Lawrence from FC Magdeburg. A little bonus, he has U23 utility until summer 2027, came from the Bayern Academy to Magdeburg and played the last 3 games as their main center back and got some huge scores. His L5 is at 60, his L15 is at 40. Let's have a short look at his last 3 games because I find it very interesting. He scored a 59 with the 10 points clean sheet bonus. Then drawing 2-2 against Regensburg, he scored 50 points, 15 AA. And in his recent game, despite losing to Sandhausen at home, he scored nearly 70 points. So really good AA scorer for €6 right now. For me, it's a good pick and maybe a good pickup for an U23 side for this weekend as well. Second defender of the day is Juninho from Midtjylland from Denmark. His scores seem to be the same as Lawrence. His L5, he played 4 of those 5 games, is at 60 as well. And his L15 is at 42. His last scores were with a goal, an 86, then a 61 and a 64. So at least 25 AAs in each of his last 3 games for Midtjylland. Great player, they're playing Horsens. Good pickup in my opinion. In the midfield, I've gone for Bryce Duke. He recently transferred from Inter Miami to Montreal FC and started his first game there as a striker. And I think once he'll find his spot in this Montreal team, he'll get on a score sheet. Bonus, he's U23 till 2025. Next one, and also an under 23 midfielder, is Yannick Keitel from FC Freiburg. Maxi Eggestein, who normally plays in this midfield role, is suspended because he got his 5th yellow against Bremen the last game week. So Yannick Keitel should get his spot, and with an L15 of 27, he's a really good pickup, especially because they're playing Schalke at home. And Freiburg is fighting for European football, and Schalke is fighting for relegation. Then it's the striker's turn, and for that we've gone for Daniel Ginczek for the first striker. For those of you who have a really small budget, he could be the perfect striker for this weekend. Costs round about €1, has an L15 of 33 and will start because Ruven Hennings is apparently injured. Ginczek started both of his last 2 games and got an assist in one of them. Düsseldorf is playing struggling Nürnberg away, and Ginczek was at Nürnberg once, so always a special duel for a player who played at both sides. The last pick of this game week was also recommended by one of you guys on Twitter for last game week. It's Tim Pritza from WSG Tirol Wattens. They're playing in the Austrian Bundesliga. In Austria, the regular season already ended and the table and the teams were split in half. So the top half is playing for the championship and all those European spots, and the bottom half is playing for staying in the league or relegation, and WSG Tirol is in the bottom half, so they are playing weaker sides. Tim Pritza has a very low L15 of 36, but an L5 of 47. And last 2 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, an 80 and a 66 score, and they're playing Lustenau at home. For me, Pritza could get back-to-back decisives and is U23 till summer 2026. Good pickup in my opinion, 0.005 ETH at the moment. Last but not least, we're going through the watch list right now, 30 players. The link to this watch list is down below. It's a Sorare data watch list. So Bryce Duke, we talked about Iliadis. We have Christian Ramirez, who should start 1 or 2 more games for Columbus Crew before Chucho Hernandez is back. Wilson Manafa for Porto, good matchup. Andy Delors, I think, can score against Troyes. Juan Bernat, really good pick against Angers. Stefan Leiner with 28 should start against Union, but tough matchup. Mohamed Simakon let me down last week and has a tough matchup this week as well, but Leverkusen plays European football. Christopher Lenz got a guarantee to start from his coach because even Dicker isn't fit. But tough game against Dortmund could be a shout. Kubek we talked about. Kotza could start for Wolfsburg. Hummels again, great pickup for me at home against Frankfurt. 43 L15 and guaranteed starter. Then we have another keeper who was only at 60% at play sharper, but L15 of 0, playing Galatasaray, the current leaders of the Super League. So yes, tough mashup, but if you wanna risk it, you can go for Kaplan. Gonzalo Montiel against Villarreal. Sevilla is playing midweek as well. L15 of 25 is spicy. Jamie Lawrence, we talked about. Kai Brünker, his teammate, should start. Ginczek, we talked about. Gideon Jung, good pickup. Fürth is playing Rostock, and Rostock is really struggling at the moment. Matthias Viña from Bournemouth against West Ham, maybe a shout. Diogo Jota for those who have budget and maybe are into the Premier League. Home game against Nottingham Forest, and Jota really played well the last games. Mateusz Cunha, Wolves playing, struggling. Leicester away, and Cunha is due a goal for me. Daniel Iversen from Leicester if you want to pick up a keeper. Then Rob Holding again, hadn't the best 2 games previously, but I think the first against the last of the Premier League at home should be a good matchup, and Saliba is injured, so Holding should have the starting spot secured. Diogo Gonçalves, always a good shout for FC Copenhagen. Juninho we talked about. Kian Faison, I like him, but it's the last game of the season for Westerlo against Seraing. Good striker, and I think he'll score at the weekend. Then we have Lukas Friedrichs from Lustenau, and the one and only Tim Pritza we talked about. There's the full watch list of 30 players for this upcoming game week, suggested by me. Thanks as always for your support on this series. I'm really looking forward to this upcoming game week, and I hope you find some value in those picks I gave to you. If that's the case, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, I'm out and wish you a great Game Week 365.